Okay, it's a little windy out today, so hopefully you can still hear me. Yeah, this was actually not a dent, it was a rust hole, so I cut this out, welded a new piece of metal in. This is what your filler should look like when it's on over the area that's been repaired. It should be raw bare metal, then you put on your filler, then you put your primer over that. Some guys are using this epoxy primer underneath. I'm not real confident in epoxy primer. It probably will work depending on what kind of filler you use. If you use the really good stuff, it may work, but any generic filler will work doing it this way. Real quick, I'm going to go over what my process for what I use is. This is a polisher, and a lot of you guys are going to go, no, you can't sand with that, it won't work. Yes, it does. You just have to be very careful, very slow, and do a good job, and then I'll finish it with a different sander. Okay, it took about 30 seconds to sand this, and if you can see, there's a little bit of swirl mark in there, which is fine. You're going to use a DA to get that out. And this is a polisher, and this is 60 grit sandpaper. You can get them these at Harbor Freight Tools. The trick is don't push on the polisher. Just guide the polisher with your hands. And unfortunately I can't take a video of it while I'm doing it. Use two hands. Just guide the polisher over the area and don't push down on it, and let the sandpaper do the work. Okay, a total of about 5 minutes have gone by. I went ahead and let this dry, and I'm going to go ahead and sand it one more time. So I'm going to use my good old Hutchins sander DA, because it's only an 1/8 inch what is that called, oscillation, and so it doesn't have or 3/16 oscillation. The other one I have is 3/8, and it's just too much. You want a nice fine sander just to do this little bit of sanding. That's all you want to do. And I'm going to put a fresh piece of 60 on here. One more thing, you see this feather edge around this outside, you have to clean that up a lot. A lot of times people are looking at waves in their bodywork and they think it's a wave in the bodywork, but it's actually the feather edging of the paint. If you it has to be really tapered slowly, and then you have to load this up with a lot of primer to fill it in so that you can actually not have too much of an edge around it. Okay, I remember I showed you guys this dent I was working on here, or it wasn't a dent, it was a rust hole right here, and went ahead and sanded a bondo, and I primered this with polyester primer. And what's on here right now is you just take a spray can and you just spray a light coat of what we call guide coat. And what I'm going to show you guys is another method of doing your body work versus trying to sit there and sand your bondo really perfect. You know, a lot of us aren't really good at that. So what you do is you get your bondo, you know, with 1 or 2 passes as best you can, and then you use this heavy primer and guide coat, and then you're going to do your finishing through polyester glazing and primer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and sand this, and then let you guys take a look at what happens after you sand it, and then do a complete fill and finish on this.